everyone, and welcome to our last broadcast from the Our Crowd Global Investor Summit 2018. We're very excited, and next to me is Ryan Japetsky from Jump. How are you?
Hi, doing very well.
So we're very excited because you just announced that your company made a partnership with a big giant of mobility, because you are disrupting the mobility industry and the sharing economy of bikes. So tell us about what you do first, and then about the partnership.
Sure. So Jump makes a shared electric bike for short trips in cities. It has a motor on it that gives you a boost up hills and allows you to go for longer distances. It's the fastest, most affordable way to get around cities. We yesterday just announced our partnership with Uber to launch a pilot in the San Francisco market, where our bikes are going to be integrated into the Uber app, and you can just find and book the bike directly from the Uber app without signing up, without doing anything special.
So that brings Jump to which market? Like, what's the size of a market that you're going to be reaching?
So we're focused on trips in large cities. So we're focused on the largest cities in the US and Europe initially. It's just a massive market. In New York City alone, there's 600,000 daily trips in a taxi, Uber, or Lyft, and 80% of them are less than 5 miles. So that's what we think we could target, and that's our addressable market. And the partnership with Uber really, really helps that, because we can identify when users are going to take a trip and push them or suggest for them to go on a bike instead of in a car.
So riding a bike is not only about improving the traffic and mobility of the city, but also about our health. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Sure. So there's a number of benefits to biking. One, it's no carbon emissions. Two, it's a form of active transportation. So as you're going, you're getting a little bit of exercise. Even with an electric bike, you're still riding the bike and getting a little bit of exercise. And three, it's just a great way to connect communities and explore your city. So it has the social benefit as well of connecting you to your city.
So when you came, how many times you've been here in Jerusalem?
It's my first time.
Oh, your first time. So when you heard about Jerusalem, what was the first thing that came to mind?
I guess just the history, and again, I know very little about the city, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow doing some touring and seeing and learning a lot more.
So I'm going to ask our viewers the same question. When you hear about Jerusalem, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Maybe religion or history, like Ryan? And I'm going to tell you, Jerusalem is harboring a secret superpower. And let's find out what that superpower is.
Most familiar as the ancient holy city to billions of people around the world, Jerusalem is experiencing a reawakening that inspires an extraordinary blend of history and modernity not found elsewhere on the globe. These days, associated with craft beer and tech incubators, the city of Jerusalem is full of surprises. Between its cobbled streets and historic architecture, Jerusalem is harboring a powerful secret. It is the world's top emerging technology hub. The city's mayor, Nir Barkat, is a venture capitalist and has engaged with entrepreneurs to develop digital tools, enterprises, and initiatives.
What we needed to do is create an ecosystem for young companies to choose Jerusalem as the destination, and to create the right packages for companies to scale and succeed in our city.
Since 2012, the number of startups in the city grew from 200 to 600, mainly in high-tech and life science companies. Add to those 18 accelerators and innovation labs, and the number keeps growing at a fast rate. But the situation started to evolve in 2015 when Time magazine picked Jerusalem as the world's top emerging technological hub. The city's high-tech scene seemed to have suddenly secured international attention overnight. Israel's latest mobility unicorn is Jerusalem darling Mobileye, powering autonomous features in today's cars. Mobileye was acquired this year for a record-breaking $15.3 billion by Intel, the largest acquisition in Israel's history. Intel will not only keep operations in Israel's capital city, but invest in it as the center of its global autonomous driving operation. Jerusalem is also home to Our Crowd, the largest equity crowdfunding platform that in less than 5 years has built a community of more than 20,000 investors.
When you walk the streets here, it is a sense of history, of purpose, of religion, of spirit, sometimes tension, sometimes excitement, and all of this mixed with this incredibly smart population who are busy planning the future. It's really about the heart of Jerusalem.
With a population of almost 1 million, 35% of them Arab, and thousands of immigrants from all around the world, Jerusalem's startup ecosystem thrives on diversity. Full of promise and creativity for the future, tech ecosystem-friendly Jerusalem is poised to make big strides forward this year as the heart of the startup nation.
They say games are the best way to learn, and today we met two startups that took games to the health and to the life-saving scenes. Actually, playing is one of the things that makes us happy. Doesn't it make you happy? Not only when we're kids, but also as adults. Share with us what makes you happy, and while you're at it, think about this. If you could invest in your happiness, would you? Well, joining me today in our Global Investor Summit live coverage is Eric Ng from Hong Kong. You're a venture capitalist investing in the world's happiness. So first of all, thank you. And so what makes you happy?
Well, in Happiness Capital, we define happiness as a 5 plus 1 plus other framework. So it consists of health, family, work, friends, leisure, and one important thing is mindset. So it's like mindfulness, helicopter thinking, and positive thinking. So to me, because I do a lot of business travel, spending quality time with my family makes me really happy. And for work, when I see our portfolio companies to grow and make more people happy in the world, it makes me happy.
How do you make your mission, the mission of your venture capital, to help the world become a better, a happier place?
Well, so our mission is pretty simple. We just empower entrepreneurs in the whole world to co-create product and services that make people happy around our 5 plus 1 framework. And we can actually recommend consumers to go through all these experiences and help them become happy. So we work with VC partners like Outcrowd, and we fund a lot of startups directly and co-invest with our VC partners. So they actually create product and services around the 5 plus 1. So we can actually help people to go through it. Yeah.
So tell us about one of the startups that you're funding, or the project Henna. It's the word in happiness?
So maybe two. One is in Cocoon Camp in Silicon Valley. They have an AI in computer vision, working with normal baby cams, and actually they can detect all the heart rate and breath rate and temperature for baby, so that give the parents peace of mind while they are sleeping, so to make the parents very happy. There's another one called Playnova in China. They produce this STEM education kit to elementary school students in China to learn STEM education through the US way. So actually, if you look at the videos that they actually capture during all these sessions, makes the kids really happy while they are learning.
So we've been playing on the coverage of the Outcrowd Summit, we've been playing a little game, association game. So I tell you a word, and you tell me the first word that comes to your mind.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I'll tell you 5 words, and then you'll teach me a game that is very popular in China, okay? Okay, so here we go. Digital.
Happy.
China.
People.
Investment.
Meaningful.
Technology.
Advancing.
Happiness.
Everyone.
Very cool. So now's your turn. What are we going to play?
Now I was going to teach you some games we usually play during drinking session, but it's pretty complicated. But there's
something
sign.
Simple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something simple. You want to? How long will it take? Do we have time?
It might
for
be
that?
5 minutes to learn.
Okay.
Okay. So take out your both hands, right?
Okay.
So
both hands.
this is. Then you have 0,
Okay.
5, 10. So we have 4 hands all together, right?
Yeah.
So so every guess is like to guess the total
Okay.
of the four hands added together, and then if the guess is right for the first time, then you can guess the next time, and if you guesses are right for the 2 consecutive times, then you win.
Okay.
Okay. So let's try it, right? So 2 hands, and you can say 5 or 10 or 15 or 20.
This was 5.
Yeah, you can do any hands with close or 5. So add up at 10, right? So if all 4 hands open up, it's 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
So maybe I start first.
Okay.
So 10. So I lost. So you can do another one.
Okay.
You can guess.
5.
and then I do another guess like 15. No, I lost.
Okay.
You again?
20.
Oh, you have to open. Oh yeah. So now you
20.
win, and then you have to do a second guess.
10.
No, you. Well, maybe we play that right. So 20, and then you do it again with 10.
5.
So I lost. So you win.
I would. It was fun playing with you. Thank you, Eric. So it's been fun taking you. People invest in what makes you happy. Spend time in what makes you happy. It's been very fun. Thank you, Eric, for being here with us.
The last thing of me, I'll just teach you a sign among young Chinese people. It's from Korea.
Yeah?
They say, I love you, so I love Israel.
Oh, I love Israel.
This is a
I
heart
love
shape.
China too.
I love everyone here.
We love you. One of
you
my
go.
happy places in the world is Jerusalem. This place. This is one of my happy places. So how many of you watching us have been here to this amazing city? If you have, share with us your best memory, your happiest memory here. To remember is to live again. And for those of you who haven't been here in Jerusalem, tell us what is the first word that comes to mind when you hear this? Spirituality, religion, conflict? Well, the Holy City has a secret superpower. Let's find out which.
Main challenges for cities today all stem out of density of people living in the city and people coming into the city to work and to enjoy. The challenge is density of vehicles, parking, traffic jams, etc. And these can be solved with technology.
The future of mobility has been on everyone's radar the last couple of years. Entering 2018, we are starting to see new smart mobility technologies on the roads. The revolution on the roads, including private and public transportation, is not strictly about environmentally better, more efficient, cheaper, or autonomous solutions. Smart mobility is now creating a new societal reality, one where ride-sharing is incorporating autonomy. Self-driven vehicles will be connected by data-sharing technologies. Connected cars are fighting off hackers, and completely new modes of transportation are in the works. Look at Jump Mobility, formerly Social Bicycles. First launched in San Francisco and Washington, D.C., the company is electrifying the rapidly growing bike-sharing industry through combining advanced pedal-assisted bikes with easily installed charging points. Jump was the first to develop and commercialize the innovative stationless bike-sharing approach, placing all of the technology usually found in bike stations onto the bike itself. Zoomcar is another example of smart mobility in the sharing economy.
Select my pickup location, that is my current location, choose date and time, enter the drop location, for example Carlton Towers. I've booked my car and here we go.
A self-drive rental service offering the best of in-car user experiences, advancing the principle that car sharing does not mean compromising quality. Frontier tech companies are enabling the autonomous car revolution. Arbe Robotics has created a 4D imaging radar system that can integrate to any vehicle.
The camera that already installed in some of the cars is good for a short range and is good for a good weather. When there is sun that is shining directly on the car, like human being. But as opposed to human being, the car doesn't wear sunglasses. So there is a need for a radar, something that is not an optic sensor, that has the ability to create a high-resolution picture that is almost good as a camera, but when the camera fails. And this is what is needed for the car in order to drive fully autonomously 100% of the time in any weather.
As the future of connected autonomous vehicles approaches, there are still certain edge cases needing human intervention. Flipping the coin on self-driven cars, Phantom Auto brings humans back into the picture through their teleoperation platform. In their first demonstration on public roads at CES 2018, Phantom Auto hopes to convince skeptical car makers and wary regulators that the best backup for today's experimental AVs is nothing more or less than an old-fashioned human driver. Meanwhile, 20th Century Sci-Fi was waiting for the right combination of talent, technology, and business case to become a reality. Hyperloop One and Virgin Group developed a strategic partnership to bring forward a new mode of traveling. Hyperloop One's unique technology uses magnetic levitation to guide and lift the pod of the track, which is in a sealed tube. Because of reduced drags, a small amount of electricity is needed to achieve extraordinary speeds, creating a more cost-energy efficient system than high-speed rail or airline transport. Last year, the company performed their first test in the Nevada desert. It intends to have a full-size passenger-ready Hyperloop in operation by 2021. We could soon be hopping into the first new major mode of transportation in 100 years.
It's wonderful to be here in Jerusalem, and joining me today is John Medved. John, how are you?
It's great to be back again with you, Alejandra. You guys are doing a great job at OCTV.
Thank you. We're so excited to be here in Jerusalem, your home city, your favorite city, right?
It's where I live, and been here for 36 years, but Jerusalem has never been like today. I mean, today it's very much a Yerushalmi, Jerusalem environment, but there's a lot of Silicon Valley here, and there's a little bit of even Las Vegas. Not the gambling part, but the show part, the production values, the size of this. There are 10,000 registered people here in Jerusalem. There are hundreds of multinational companies and venture capitalists. There's so much going on these exhibits. People are complaining that the hall is too big, they can't see it all, and they're feeling like this FOMO, fear of missing out, because they can't get to all the sessions.
I know, and everyone is so excited. We have people, guests from Australia and from China, from India.
90 different countries.
I know, and they've been telling here live with us that they're so excited, and they thought that they had a lot of innovation in their countries, and then when they come to Israel, they're like, oh, okay, we're...
Now I understand the startup nation.
Yeah, exactly. So we've been playing a little game with the guests.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a word, and tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
I love that. Name association game.
Okay, so digital.
Health.
Jerusalem.
Home.
Technology.
Fun.
Challenge.
Bring it on.
Our crowd.
Passion.
Okay, and let's talk about the journey of Our Crowd in the last 5 years. What are you most proud of? You've created a community of 25,000 investors in just 5 years. Share a little bit about your secret sauce.
Well, look, the secret sauce is living here. If you want to invent stuff, come join us here in Jerusalem and in Israel. It's the magic. It's in the air. It's the culture. You know, we're delusional, right? In other words,
we are.
I mean, we're totally delusional. And by the way, that's a requirement according to the professor Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize-winning economist. He says that to be an entrepreneur, you really have to sort of delude yourself that the odds are not against you, as we know they are, but that you're going to beat them anyway.
Yeah.
And if you have a group of people who believe the same thing, you change the odds. Mass delusion works. So I'd say the secret of my success is the fact that I'm here. I'm feeding off of this energy. The fact that to get an Israeli going, you basically got to tell him he can't do something. Okay.
Then, yeah.
I can't do this. Okay. And
They love a challenge.
yes. So I find that that's what's working. Look, we're also catching a really cool wave. There's a lot of interest in innovation worldwide. Everybody knows that disruption is coming, not only in your industry but for your job. And
Absolutely.
people also understand that they have to invest in innovation for their own portfolios. The problem is if you wait like you did traditionally to invest in IPO companies or later, you're waiting too late today. You know, with Airbnb at 30 billion or, you know, Uber at 70 billion,
it's
you want to
too
get in when there are
expensive.
these early startups. So
Sure.
everybody here is looking not just at understanding innovation, but how can I profit from it? How can I invest in it?
And I know you're an optimist, and a lot of people are a little bit afraid of future and the changes it will bring, and what you said, maybe we won't have a job. How do you keep your optimism in a world that really we don't know what's going to happen, but we need to create it and be open to what it brings?
Well, I mean, you look at where we've come from as a people. You know, we're getting into the 70th year of Israel's independence, re-independence. And there's such a blessing. This country is doing wonderfully. They're good people here. They're people of values. And yeah, there are real challenges. I mean, by the way, it is scary, some of the things with robots. We had a session on mutant children, you know, and killer robots, okay, to talk about what the fears are and to talk them through, because these fears are not necessarily irrational. They're real fears, and there are ethical issues afoot. But you've got to take a look that basically, you know, I'm a religious person, and I believe that God is looking out for us, and I think that right here we have a purpose to fill in the world, and it's a good one. And the world's going to be great, and we're going to have better lives, and we're going to figure it out, okay? But it's going to be figured out largely by Israeli companies and American companies and Chinese companies and Japanese companies. All of us together can pull together and figure a way to make the world a better place.
You just talked about a lot of a global perspective and collaboration. What's your take on collaboration for bringing forward innovation around the
Well,
world?
I think that today, every startup has to be a little mini multinational, right? There is no such thing anymore as a company that only is an Israeli company or only an American company. Everybody has R&D somewhere else and outsourcing here and collaboration, because if you don't, you're going to miss it. The markets are global, you got to work global, you need complementary cultures and skills. So I think Israel pioneered that, because we don't really have a market, right? We have to get out to
Absolutely.
the market somewhere else. So we always hired people, but today, you know, it's what's wild is that, for example, in the post-Mobileye acquisition, where Intel bought Mobileye, people thought they might pack it up and take it out to, you know, California or Oregon. Instead, they're bringing their people here
Jerusalem,
to
yeah.
Jerusalem. Jerusalem's the center, you know, of the next generation mobility for the entire Intel Corporation. They're trying to hire 4,000 new, you know, engineers.
Please.
And it's that global sense that Israel at the center, and you feel it here. You look around, 40% of this audience is from abroad. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
the
wild.
hitting countries, yeah, that is wild.
But they're coming to Israel for the summit, for the innovation, for our crowd.
So it looks like things are going to speed up for our crowd. If in 5 years you came to 25,000 investors, like in the next 5 years, that number will
we need to be over 100,000.
Absolutely.
I would actually like to get to 500,000 or 1 million if we can get there. Don't tell my team I told you that number, because they'll say he's nuts. Okay, he's promising things. Someone said to me, you know, Medved, you're really good at over-promising and then over-delivering. Okay, so, you know, we are setting high bars for ourselves. We've been growing really fast. We've doubled the business every year. We're into an unbelievable year. 2018 is shaping up to be spectacular. The quality of the companies that we're investing in has never been higher.
Absolutely.
And, you know, you'll see it here. It's a great show. It's fun. And we're going to have an amazing after party tonight, which any of you who are
I know
watching,
we're all waiting to go to the after party.
if you're overseas, I'm afraid you're probably going to miss it because it'll be too late to hop on a plane. But if you're anywhere in Israel watching
Just
this,
come
then
over
you
to
want to get
Jerusalem.
over here, because there is going to be fun in the house. We're taking over Shuk Machane Yehuda, which is Jerusalem's storied open-air market, and it usually is a complete zoo on Thursday nights. This time, when the thousands of people from the Our Crowd Summit descend on it and the free beer, it's going to be amazing.
Wild, of course. And John, thank you for joining us here. We're going to speed up to our mobility segment, where we're going to see that maybe we might be the generation that will hop in the new mode of transportation in 100 years, which is amazing.
Amazing.
We're lucky to live in this era. Thank you for joining us, and let's see the smart mobility. Where are we going?
Most familiar as the ancient holy city to billions of people around the world, Jerusalem is experiencing a reawakening that inspires an extraordinary blend of history and modernity not found elsewhere on the globe. These days associated with craft beer and tech incubators, the city of Jerusalem is full of surprises. Between its cobbled streets and historic architecture, Jerusalem is harboring a powerful secret. It is the world's top emerging technology hub. The city's mayor, Nir Barkat, is a venture capitalist and has engaged with entrepreneurs to develop digital tools, enterprises, and initiatives.
What we needed to do is create an ecosystem for young companies to choose Jerusalem as the destination and to create the right packages for companies to scale and succeed in our city.
Since 2012, the number of startups in the city grew from 200 to 600, mainly in high-tech and life science companies. Add to those 18 accelerators and innovation labs, and the number keeps growing at a fast rate. But the situation started to evolve in 2015 when Time magazine picked Jerusalem as the world's top emerging technological hub. The city's high-tech scene seemed to have suddenly secured international attention overnight. Israel's latest mobility unicorn is Jerusalem darling Mobileye, powering autonomous features in today's cars. Mobileye was acquired this year for a record-breaking $15.3 billion by Intel, the largest acquisition in Israel's history. Intel will not only keep operations in Israel's capital city, but invest in it as the center of its global autonomous driving operation. Jerusalem is also home to Our Crowd, the largest equity crowdfunding platform that in less than 5 years has built a community of more than 20,000 investors.
When you walk the streets here, it is a sense of history, of purpose, of religion, of spirit, sometimes tension, sometimes excitement, and all of this mixed with this incredibly smart population who are busy planning the future. It's really about the heart of Jerusalem.
With a population of almost 1 million, 35% of them Arab, and thousands of immigrants from all around the world, Jerusalem's startup ecosystem thrives on diversity. Full of promise and creativity for the future, tech ecosystem-friendly Jerusalem is poised to make big strides forward this year as the heart of the startup nation.
Ofer, Chelet, and the new recruit, Menachem, that just joined us from Samsung. So, and Michaela. It's not easy to be an actor, but to be an investor, I have to say. So it's all about the people, and I want to start by exposing you to two startups and founders, amazing founders, that we already committed to invest in them in the last 4 months that we're operating. The first founder, Mike Dick. Mike is, in a way, I'm saying, you know, in Israel we invented the cherry tomato, the discount key, but nobody knows that we also invented the couch potato. Mike was working for more than a decade at NDS, the company that invented the set-top box that we all have at home. They have 90% market share. And after being so successful there and selling the company for $5 billion to Cisco, he decided to start another company in a very, very important area. Next generation cybersecurity for the automotive. Mike, please join me. You need a couch? Mike, tell us, what are you going to do at C2A?
So, imagine you wake up in the morning, you get into your car, you start the car, and a message appears on the screen in your car, and the message says, you have to pay a Bitcoin, otherwise in 10 minutes your car will stop working. Now this might sound to many of you science fiction, but it's not science fiction. It can happen tomorrow. It will happen tomorrow. We can do this to our cars in our lab today. In every car there are between 150 and 250 computers, all connected in a network. And these computers control all the safety systems of the car, including the brakes, the engine, the steering wheel, all controlled by different computers in the car. When you press the brakes, it's not connected to the brakes. When you press the brakes, a message goes to the brakes computer, and the computer tells the brakes place to work. If a hacker threw that, by the way, most of the cars today that are produced, new cars, are connected cars. They're connected to the internet. In the US, it's almost 100% of the cars that are new cars that are manufactured are connected cars. Which means that if a hacker finds his way into the car network, he can control your car. He can put on the brakes, he can turn the steering wheel, he can stop the engine. He can do anything he wants to. And the question is, if this is the situation, if it's such a serious situation, why is it that the car manufacturers haven't done anything to stop this happening? And the reason is because it's very difficult. Existing systems, different existing solutions in the market are very difficult to implement. Car manufacturers are not really manufacturers. They're integrators. They integrate multiple systems that they buy and produce a car. If you want to change hardware in the car or to change software in a critical component of the car, there's many integrations that have to be done with multiple vendors, and that's mission impossible for them. It's very difficult for them to do that. So until now, they haven't done it. What we have done in C2A, we found an innovative method of including security in the car to the highest level on the one hand, but on the other hand to do it at a very easy integration. Our first integration with Continental in Germany, in 2 days they had the system integrated and working. This is something new for the industry. In addition to that, latest attacks are showing that people are starting to attack on the chip level. You probably have all heard of Meltdown and Spectre that has been a big in all the newspapers and spoken about in recent times. Using our protector on the chip level, we would be able to, in the automotive industry, stop attacks such as Meltdown and Spectre on the chipsets of the automotive industry. So we're very excited about the way forward, and we're also very excited about joining LabsO2. Moshe has been a great help for us, and the partners of LabsO2, we look forward to be able to working with them and finding new markets for our technology. Thanks, Moshe.
Last segment, we have a very exciting group of people, the tech journalists coming from all around the world to see what's going on in this summit. So guys, we have tech journalists from TechCrunch, from VentureBeat, from Fast Company, and we're going to start just to see what are their insights. We're going to pick their brains now. So Stuart, can you give us your insight about what's going on with this Global Investor Summit here in our crowd?
Yeah, it's so amazing to see all the startups here in Jerusalem. Coming from the States, I had no idea there's such a huge active startup community in Israel and in Jerusalem specifically, so it's great to see everyone here at the conference.
Lydia, you've been doing a lot of writing about leadership, tech. How do these two concepts are being, and innovation, how are these three being leveraged here?
It's really amazing to see everyone coming together. Entrepreneurs are innovative by nature, but you need leadership to drive innovation forward. And I'm seeing that both the investors and the entrepreneurs are providing that kind of leadership to move that innovation forward here.
You've been tweeting about this summit since 2 days ago. So tell us, what are you seeing in the future of work? AI is disrupting all the way we work. How is our future looking that we're side by side with robots?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Artificial intelligence is already affecting everything that we do. It's affecting our daily lives right now. Robots are also doing that. What we're seeing in terms of the future of work is the argument between artificial intelligence and robots replacing humans versus augmenting humans. The reality of that is it's going to be down to the people that buy those AI systems and those robots. Are they an autocratic manager? If they are going to replace humans. If they're not, they're going to augment them. Augmentation has been shown to be by far the most economically viable way forward, and it's interesting to see in the Israeli startup market the amount that's being done in AI. It's really quite exciting.
Very exciting times we're living at, and we've seen a lot of emerging startups that you're an expert on. So tell us, what is the startups that are the ones that are catching your eye here in the summit?
It's a lot of exciting startups here, but I think what's most interesting is that a lot of them are tackling really hard tech problems. They're not just building an application that uses AI, but they're building a chip for AI. They're not just scanning a picture, but they're using a physical device to scan your food, for example.
So it's really deep tech, real tech.
It's far more deep tech than we usually see in the Silicon Valley, which tends to be a little bit more consumer-oriented.
So, Constance, you are known for looking at trends even before they start a trend. So, what is the new trend that you see coming up here from Israel?
Well, digital health has been on my radar. Basically, I follow the money. I'm a business reporter who's transitioned to covering digital health, a lot of what it might be. And I originally was covering digital currencies for CNBC back in 2011. It was $11. Nobody wanted to buy it, but it's really similar to digital health in that it's putting power back in the hands of consumers. And that is a huge trend, and that's the bigger trend, actually, that's going on right now. So, yeah, it's very powerful. Israel has some great startups in this area.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us today. We're closing with you, so it's exciting that we're going to be the generation that will ride a new mode of transportation here. And thank you for joining us. It's been great to have you here in Jerusalem. Actually, we're seeing startups that are coming out of like sci-fi. And we've seen corporates here, Facebook, Innogy, Intuit, KPMG, Honda, HP, SAP, coming together with more than 130 startups in panels, demoing the coolest tech, sharing stories about collaboration, saving lives, and pushing forward the innovation revolution. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys. You've been a terrific audience. Great comments, great questions from all around the globe. And remember to tag us, share this transmission, this broadcast, tag us to the labels that are coming out of your screen. Check out our Instagram stories for behind the scenes at Ala Barav. And to close with our last show, a big kiss from Israel. Shalom, shalom.